Pressing the last row of lemon pepper that I'm putting together. Let me go chase down my chair. Okay, so things are probably going to swing and mess because I don't have the camera set up yet. All right. So there's all sorts of gimmicks, well, I hate to say gimmicks, tools out on the market for pressing seams and keeping them flat. This is my personal favorite. It does take a little more time than other methods, but seems to work for me. So I've got, this is where the blocks join together, and what I normally do is pin all of my blocks in a row together, and I can just speed piece them and come back and press them all at once. Which reminds me that I haven't do that. And the first thing to notice is that I keep the iron on there for 4 or 5 seconds. And then as I do the rest of these, the first set will cool off. I know this is kind of boring. Who wants to watch somebody else iron? But as my friend used to say, there's a methane to my madness. And these rows are alternating directions because they're going to have a lot of seams that cross. Let me just check position here. Okay, so here's the seam that I need to press, and I know from counting and looking at it that I need to press it towards this pin that marks my last row. So I'm actually going to grab the seam and pull it slightly, and my arm was in the way. And I'm going to hold it here for 4 or 5 seconds. And just for good measure, I'm going to go ahead and press that one as well. So to get my nesting seams, I sometimes had to turn my row here. So I'm going to take that one and press it the rest of the way in the correct direction. Okay, and sometimes they don't like to stay in place, so I have this easy press pin, and it has a starch alternative in it that's concentrated. And you can just wipe it along your fabric here. Press it. Doo, 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 doo. It's not going to be completely dry, but you can see it, the seam is lying a little flatter now. Go to the next seam. See if you can see this. I'll pull my sweatshirt up. So I'm just grabbing the seam I just pressed and pulling on it just slightly so you can pull this, and hopefully there won't be a fold underneath that fabric. And lucky me, I caught, I don't know who started it. Tor had a cold and a cough. Blinn got that and ended up in the hospital with pneumonia. Now I've got something. And just to add to the fun, I've got pink eye now too, so I'm staying home for a few days. Don't want to infect anybody with that. But I've got plenty to do because I'm finishing this quilt up, which again is lemon pepper. And prepping this for the show we're doing in Puyallup at the end of February. It's the Sewing and Stitchery Expo put on by Washington State University at the Puyallup Fairgrounds. And Jackie and I are going to be teaching. Oops. So this is an Aliso iron, and when I let go of this, you can see this? Oh, there we go. When I let go of the iron, oops, of course not. They won't show you. So this is another seam where it's kind of folded the other way. So I'm going to give it another press, trying not to wrinkle my other ones too much. And that's okay, but oh, well, no wonder. Well, try pressing in the correct direction. So I'm going to use this, and when you can prime this by simply pressing on it, and then you'll see the darker mark where the fluid's coming out. Okay, now I'm just going to press that back. Okay, and on to the next one. I'm sorry my arm is in the way. Let's see if I can make this a little better. Okay, so you can see how my fabric is stretching. And I'm not stretching it completely out of shape, just enough to try to make sure there's no folds on the front. Okay, there we go. This one is still not behaving. Just going to give it reinforcement. And then I'm going to turn this over and press it from the front side. Again, pulling on this top of the block. Make sure the seam's flat and there's no fabric folded over there. Hold it for 4 or 5 seconds again. And just right here. You can see that these, as I'm pressing on the second time, they are starting to really lay down flat. This one I'm going to put, I think there's some seams in the back. And this precision piecing easy press pen relaxes the fabric, so it helps it fall into place better. On the fabric slightly, count to 5 or 6, and I'm not counting quickly, but I'm not counting 1 1,000, 2 1,000 either. So here's my seam. Pull in this. 3, 4, 5, 6. And here's the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for good measure, I'm going to press this little piece. Okay. They're not perfectly flat. This does take a little bit of time. But I think it's about the same amount of time as you would use with the clapper or using the easy press pen by itself. Just slight pressure. And notice I'm pressing and not ironing. So ironing is when you move your iron all around, and that works really well in clothing, but in quilting it seems to be better not to move it around because sometimes the fabric will stretch. And I'm just doing a final press because I think this video is going to be really short. But I'm all done. Going to put it together. Thanks, everyone. Bye.